Hello, everyone. Today is the last day ever. Um, Very happy that a majority of us are graduating, if not all of us. I Shannon, yeah, like Sarah said, I'm not sure if you also are graduating or not, but congratulations to everyone. It's been quite an adventure, I'm sure. Um, I started work today at around 4 a.m. So I apologize in advance if I'm a little groggy and incoherent. Um, let's see, Maria. I watched your video response most recently, and I thought that was kind of horrifying. What had happened to that animal to make it more um, calm and docile towards the people that were handling it. Um, that's terrible. I never would have thought that something like that would be done for the enjoyment of others. Like, man, I would equate that to animal abuse of the most extreme, like they're okay, I don't want to start getting into animal abuse stuff, but obviously that's not cool and that's not acceptable. And I never thought that I would have to like look into tourism and how it affects the society that is being toured. So that's some interesting evidence, I guess you can say, that you brought up, Maria. I never would have thought to consider that. So thank you. If I ever travel somewhere or, book some sort of touring agency or whatever, I'm not sure how traveling works. I'll definitely be conscious as to how it affects the society that I'm visiting. Um, I would never want to contribute to something like that, whether I'm doing, consciously or unconsciously. Um, so thank you for bringing that to light. Um, let's see. Rosa, I'm glad that you pointed out that it's important to have different experiences because I was in my last video post I was talking about like how the internet and technology and stuff has worked for me, and that I was able to reach out and I was able to create real long lasting relationships with people that I got to meet in person over extended periods of time, knowing them only online, you know, like after, I don't know, I would say that the average amount of time, not that I had like a criteria or anything, this is just kind of the way that my life enveloped. Like after knowing these people for years, um, it's weird. And yeah, Sarah, definitely like that word again, it's so fulfilling meeting them. I remember that when I met my friend that I had known for forever, through MySpace. Again, his name is Dallas. I was totally unsuspecting of it. Like I think I was doing homework or something at home, um, and I was living with my friends at the time, and somebody knocked on the front door. Somebody rang the doorbell, so I go to answer the door, and it's my friend Dallas that I met on MySpace. And my friends arranged for him to come visit and to come stay with us for like a week or something. And it was just so like surreal. Like I opened the door and it took me a second to really like understand who it was that I was looking at. Like, wow, you're real. Like you're here, Like it was just a really good, fulfilling thing. There's nothing that compares to actually interacting with people in person. Like you can interact with people online, but it's just not the same thing. You know what I mean? Like for example, even with our video discussions and stuff, I would love to have these discussions in like a classroom setting so that we could have, like actual organic conversation as opposed to like the staggered video posts that we do daily. So I'm grateful for the experiences that we have had through technology and the interaction that we've used to talk about art and, things like that. But again, like I'm sure we would have had such a better time interacting in person, you know, so much more fulfilling. Um, you also, Sarah, pointed out that it's important to not let technology take away from your life, and I would agree with that. It's that technology is meant to enhance our lives, and it's not necessarily meant to be something to be lived for. It's sort of that same sort of philosophy of like, eat to live, don't live to eat. You know what I mean? Like, despite the fact that food is important and you need it to survive and it betters your life, don't like overindulge yourself, because obviously that'll lead to health risks and things like that. And the theory can be applied to technology, like, yes, it will better your life, and yes, you can say to a certain extent it's necessary to go about your day-to-day, habits. But if you just indulge more into it than what you should, the experiences and the results that you're gonna get are not gonna be positive ones, you know so it's important to strike a balance. um let's see, what other notes did I write? Taking someone's image for your own art and sort of the ethics of that. That's something that you also, Shannon, touched upon in your video, like using somebody, or you talked about, Shannon specifically, you talked about like getting in the space of nature to capture it in an image, and how that idea makes you uncomfortable because you don't want it, sort of, I guess you can say, like, disturb that natural balance. um, I totally get that. I never, again, this is just never really something that I would have considered myself, because I guess I'm kind of one of those people that, like, if I see a deer or like a turtle or something, I'm just like, oh wow, this is really neat. I'm gonna take a photo of it real fast. I try to get as close as I can to where it's still acceptable to the animal. But I've never considered that, like, hey, maybe that just altogether isn't really cool. Like, give the animal its space. So I think I'll definitely, have second thoughts and reconsider my actions if something like that were to ever happen. You guys are making me all more conscious about things. I like it. Um, but it also reminded me of methods of interaction, through having that camera experience, photographic experience, better way of saying it. Like, for example, there's this very popular series of photos that circulate online that show people's portraits from before and after they were told that they were beautiful. And sort of before is just they're posing generically for um, a photograph. And then the idea is that the photographer supposedly told them, oh, you're really beautiful, or oh, you look really good, or something like that. And then immediately after, they would photograph their response to that. And, 9 times out of 10, their response was like big smile and like being caught off guard or laughter or something like that. Because I think having your photo taken when you're conscious of it can be a very unsettling thing, or like it'll make you uncomfortable. I know, like, for me personally, I don't like, this is probably something that I should get over. It's something that stems from me being this really shy, sort of uncomfortable person in general. I don't like seeing pictures of me. This gonna get like, we probably all feel this way to a certain extent, but I don't really like seeing pictures of me, because, like, I get into that mindset of being my own worst critic, of like, oh, why am I standing like that? Or why am I posing like that? Why do I look so awkward? Why do I look so uncomfortable? You know what I mean? But when you sort of break through that technological experience of being in front of a camera, and you turn it into something that's more human, as like you're not focusing on the camera itself, but you're focusing on the person behind the camera, because that person, is like, oh, you're really beautiful, or oh, you look really good, or expressing interest in you as a person as opposed to you as an image. That was something that I thought was really cool, as from a photography aspect. um, Using technology as a tool to connect with others, but not necessarily having the technology being the focal point of that experience, again, like just using it to enhance the experience as opposed to being like um, the main idea. You know, I thought that photography series was really successful in doing that and showing that you can make human connections with people through the means of technology. You know what I mean? Because again, they were able to take the focus off of the camera itself and onto the person who's taking their photo. So I just thought that was a really neat thing to see. Um, let's see, what other notes did I write? Um, Disillusionment, Shannon, is another thing that I was thinking about when you were talking about the Mona Lisa. And I apologize, I'm not sure if it was Sarah or Shannon that said scale is important when it comes to art. But yeah, I would agree. That lends to the whole idea of disillusionment, and that when you have an idea of something in your head and you see it for the first time in person, through seeing it in technology for, X amount of time, sometimes it can be a little disappointing and that you expect it to be a little bit more than what it was. And I do think that that is a negative that technology introduces into the art world, and that I know we've all discussed about how important it is to preserve art and to have it be as accessible as possible to the community, and how that's a wonderful thing. But it might also take away from the original piece of artwork, in that you see it for the first time and you're kind of just like, oh wow, I thought it'd be more colorful, or oh, I thought it'd be smaller, I thought it'd be bigger, I thought it would look a certain way based upon how it looked in the photos that I was seeing, or the electronic exhibit that I was shown through my computer. You know what I mean? So I can see that as a negative that technology can introduce into the art world. um I guess it's just sort of like technology has a lot of give and take. um but I guess that also, you could say, makes art more interesting to discuss, because like you said, Rosa, it's important to have different experiences so that we can discuss those differences and to broaden our mindsets and to learn new things. If everybody had the same opinion on everything, then the world would be a pretty boring place. We wouldn't have much to learn or experience. So perhaps you can also spin it as like technology gets you to where you need to go in terms of like seeing an art piece. It gets you there. If you have a negative experience of seeing it in person, you can discuss that negative experience with other people around you and have a discussion about it. Like, why are you disappointed? You know, what was it about this piece that made you disappointed compared to what your expectations were? Maybe, you know, maybe you can work towards creating your own piece of artwork that embodies what you envision. Maybe it would inspire you to create your own original something and put it out into the world for people to see, you know? Or maybe it will teach you that you should look at things in the world a little bit differently. Maybe it'll teach you that you need to have a balance, more of a balance between art and technology and experiences in person, you know? I think that in discussing, learning about everything that we've been talking about, one main thing that I can take away from this class is that it's important to acknowledge how important things are at the time of their introduction and to have an open mind, but also to see things as a whole, as opposed to, focusing on your own thoughts or your own experiences. Because again, media archaeology was a little bit of a weird thing to tackle. Like, how do you approach it from the middle and then branch out from there. Like start off somewhere in the middle and then work towards the past and then work towards the future and have all these conversations that seem to go everywhere. You know, it's important to have an open mind, and it's important to find a balance, and it's important to appreciate things for how they truly are in reality and not for how they're perceived online. Um, that's what I took away from this class. I've also really enjoyed just, engaging with people for, I guess you could say, the first time that I've been with Arizona State. It's been all online, and it's been really engaging to actually have these prolonged discussions with classmates. So this has been a really good experience, a really positive experience that'll be one of the highlights of, my time at Arizona State. So thank you all for contributing your thoughts and to help broaden my mind, and thank you for listening to me. And hopefully I've been engaging, and I've you know like opened your guys' minds up to new things. You guys have definitely done that for me. um Congratulations to everybody who's graduating. Congratulations to everybody who's learned something and has bettered themselves through learning everything that we've learned. All right, I'm gonna go take a nap, and then I'm gonna call my mom, be all excited about graduating and whatnot. uh, Thanks, you guys, for for contributing your thoughts. And I won't see you later, but anyway, I've had a great time. Thanks, you guys. Bye.